Okay, I want to talk about this week's meme, because I received a lot of emails on it, so I thought I'd finally come on and talk to you. How does that sound? Hi, I'm psychic medium Angelina Diana, and I've been doing readings since 2001. I work as a medium, which means I honor those that have crossed over. My hope is that it brings them hope so that they learn to connect on their own. I'm also a psychic, which means I work with your spirit, giving you a sense of what's coming up for you, but also hopefully empowering you to see your own abilities to be intuitive. Okay, so as the brain gets weaker, the spirit gets grander. I did receive a lot of emails on this, and I really think that as a psychic and as a medium, oh, hi, Bobo. I want to talk to the people here. This is Bobo. You want to say hi, Bobo? This is Bobo. You say hi. Well, I know you want to see me. We say hi. This is Bobo. Okay, you can sit on my lap. Okay, so as the brain gets weaker, the spirit gets grander, right, Bobo? So I was driving to Long Island to do a reading. I think this was back in 2003. And this woman had invited me to her home to do a mediumship reading, which means that she had a loss. I love you. And, you know, my heart goes out to people that have had losses. We all grieve. It's the one thing we have in common. And it's hard to go through grief. It is a physiological process that makes life really hard. But I believe we all have a spirit which, while honoring our spirits can't cure grief, it can give grief a big old black eye sometimes and help us through the process. So that's another thing I'll talk about another time. But I was invited to this lovely woman's home. She invited me into her kitchen. We sat down, and as soon as I sat with her, I felt her mother around her. And for the whole hour, her mother came through talking about the last things, the things that her daughter had done for her in the last 6 months. That was the wording. And I was struck with the fact that that's all that her mom spoke about for the whole hour, was that her love and what she saw in the last 6 months was her daughter doing beautiful things for her. And the daughter confirmed, yes, I did that. Yes, I did this. You brought the beach to me. You planted a flower for me. Like all these pretty things that no way I could have known. But when the reading was over, I was really curious because that's all she spoke about. I mean, it's a very, very profound thing, but that's all. Not even how she had passed. So being a curious person, and by the way, if you want to reach your loved ones, be curious. Look for why they send you signs, meditate, pray, daydream time with them. But I asked the woman, can I please ask you a question? Because I don't ask questions during a session. She said, yes, you can. And I said, well, I'm really curious why your mother didn't talk about how she had passed. And the woman looked at me with this really warm smile as she was dabbing her tears away from the reading. She goes, my mother hasn't passed. And I went, what? I said, I don't understand that, because I felt her and heard her the way I always hear and feel loved ones that have passed over. She goes, well, the only thing I could think of, Angeline, is my mother has Alzheimer's, and she has not recognized me for the last 6 months. Which means that for the last 6 months, her mother's brain wasn't present here as the brain gets weaker, and her spirit was grander, so she felt the comfort of heaven, even though her body was still, her heart was still beating here. She wasn't present. And it makes a lot of sense, because when we, as want to get up, honey bunch? Okay, oh, he's a big cat. As I was saying, see how the brain works? We're thinking about everything that we have to do all the time, but we rarely have a psychic moment. That's a healthy person here, physically. But as someone is passing, whether it takes 6 months, like this woman's mom, or if it's unfortunately by a very tragic, quick accident that you don't expect, as the brain goes unconscious, they're automatically in heaven. They feel that comfort. So it really is an interesting concept that Spirit shared. As the brain gets weaker, the spirit gets grander. And if we can think of that too as we're going through the grieving process. I know you're hungry, honey. Stop knocking stuff off the table. Little Bobo wants to be fed. Problem is he's not little. He needs to wait. If we think about the process of grief, and when we grieve, we can navigate their connection to us in 2 ways. It can still be as the griever, the person who's grieving, and we look for the physical signs because we're victimized and we want to make them physical again. And they can send us physical signs. They certainly can. But if we can think of the concept, stop it, Bobo. He really wants to eat. He's knocking my envelopes off the table. We can tune into our own spirit and become very metaphysical while we're still walking here on this planet. We can somewhat make our brain a little weaker so our spirit can get grander, to talk to them, just like a medium does. See what you see, hear, feel, taste, and smell, and then ask them to turn those unique things into signs. So we can navigate connecting to them through the physical world, but we can also take some control and give grief a big old black eye and ask them through a meditation, prayer, or daydreaming, hey, how you doing? And see what you receive. So I hope this helps you, and I hope we can talk more. Have a good day.